Tēnā katoa katoa. I'll just introduce myself and Mr. I'm Helen Bradford, I'm the Deputy Headmaster here. I'm also what you call the Principal's nominee, which is the liaison person between NCEA and the school. Mr. Coley is also the Deputy Headmaster of Curriculum and Assessment. So just to check you're in the right session, because we're running 2 sessions today, this one is for students who are currently in Year 11, who have been experiencing the diploma and have no knowledge or are a little bit unaware of what the requirements for NCEA are at level 2. So if you want to quickly go now, you please do. The diploma talk is at 5 o'clock. Okay, so let's get started. So NCEA Level 2 is run by NCEA, obviously. It's designed now as the foundational course. So it is what the NCEA have sort of deemed as the minimum requirement for students leaving school. So Level 2 is what they hope that most New Zealanders will gain as a minimum. It'll be Level 2. It's the one that employees and people in the community recognise, and they use it as a baseline. One important thing that you need to know for Level 2 is for when you're applying for university in the following year, they often look at your Level 2 results. So it is actually quite an important year because when you apply for university, the results for Level 3 have not yet come out. Okay, so it is basically a foundation course for Level 3 and university. So NCEA focus on achievement-based assessment. It doesn't compare students against students. It compares each student uniquely against a standard. Okay, so achievement, I'll just move that for you, if it's working. No. Again. Okay, so it's an achievement-based assessment. So it basically assesses what your child will be able to do. Okay, it's not a ranking system. So in NCEA, it's structured with achievement standards, okay, and every course has a number of achievement standards. So unlike the diploma, where we have made every course the same, every course has the same types of assessments and the same number of points, NCEA has made up of standards, and each of those standards vary in how much they're worth and how long they will take. So in the yellow box, you can just see what the way it's sort of recorded. AS stands for Achievement Standard, 91256 is the number associated with that standard. It happens to be a maths one, coordinate geometry. It's the 3rd version of the standard since NCEA started, and it's worth 2 credits. So you do have to get used to knowing when we will talk about standards all the time rather than points as in the diploma. Okay, all assessments in Level 2 may be either internal. So if you're doing an internal assessment, it will be assessed by teachers, written by us at St Paul's and set within the school year. Okay, if you sit an internal, you will be awarded the credits to that standard immediately, so you can see that. Externals are what we call the external examinations. They are in November. At the following year, they are marked and set by NCEA. So each course will be made up of some internals and some externals. Okay, so credits are quite important. Unlike the points in Year 11 diploma, we will start talking about credits. So some assessments can be worth up to 12 credits. If you take art, for instance, as a subject, your portfolio could be worth 12 to 14 credits, and it's just for one piece of work. The average is normally between 3 and 4, and so you might take a standard for about 4 weeks, it's worth 4 credits. You sit an assessment at the end of those 4 credits, and then they go towards your record. So what you need for NCEA to pass or to gain your certificate, so your National Certificate of Educational Achievement at Level 2, you need to be able to earn 60 credits at Level 2 or above, because it is possible for some students to be doing some level 3 work. And so 60 credits must be passed. You need to bring with you the 10 credits that you may have already achieved as a year 11 or even a year 10 student in literacy or te reo matatini or numeracy. Okay, so most students, we're actually doing them next week for year 10. So most students would have already attempted those literacy and numeracy credits. They are the ones that you need. It's quite important now, you will not get your NCEA level 2 awarded to you, even though you may have 65 credits, if you have not yet passed the literacy or numeracy. So that is what they call the baseline before being awarded. So when you can also get an endorsement. So just like the diploma for us in year 11 where we had distinction and honours, NCEA level 2 is awarded at 3 levels. You can achieve it, you can achieve your NCEA level 2 with merit, or you can achieve your NCEA level 2 with excellence. So it is given out in 3 levels. To get excellence, you have to get 50 minimum credits at the excellence level. To get merit, you may have got 50 credits at the merit level, but some of those could have been excellence. If you don't reach the 50 merits, then you will just be awarded your NCEA level 2. All right, so it is quite, there's a bit of a goal there. You can actually strive. Most students would probably be sitting around 100 credits, so there is room to not perhaps pass them all, straight away. They may miss some credits, but it doesn't matter, because in the end, if you can get 50 excellence credits, then you can get your level 2 with excellence. There's also a thing called course endorsement, which is quite useful for those students who are particularly good at a particular subject. You can get a course endorsed as well with achieved merit or excellence. So I, for instance, teach maths. If one of my students manages to get 14 credits at the excellence level, they will get mathematics endorsed with excellence, and it's printed on their record of achievement. There is one requirement there, though, that to get a course endorsement, you must have sat an external standard and passed it at that level. So you might get 8 credits at merit, and then you will need at least 6 of your externals. Okay, so 3 credits is the minimum. There is some courses at level 2 that don't have actual externals, like phys ed and a couple of others. You just get exempted, okay? But they are the only courses where you can pass internally and get your endorsement. So a student may get their certificate overall endorsed with merit. They may get physical education endorsed with excellence, mathematics endorsed with excellence. So there is quite a range of achievements that can be recorded on your record of achievement. Okay, just a bit of background how it all works, because obviously every school is doing the same standards, but a lot of schools do it very differently. So for a school to run internal assessment, all work has to be moderated. And NCEA do come and check up on schools on that. We have a yearly visit, and then they go quite thoroughly into how you run your courses. So it is actually quite robust. So when we run an internal assessment, we would then moderate that student work. So it's not just, I teach that standard, I think, oh, my kids have done well, I'll award those credits. It's a fairly robust system. So all work has to be moderated, and if you enter a subject, for instance, you're in drama and we only have 1 class, then it has to go to another school to be moderated. So you can just be rest assured that your child is going to get a fair assessment, that it's not going to be harder or easier than any other school in New Zealand, because we all have to operate under the same system. There is an opportunity. Some students are worried or don't particularly like assessment. There is some opportunity in the standards for internals that you can actually resubmit parts of work. Usually you can do a resubmission if there's a slight error, and it means that you might not actually get the credits, but if you can find that error, then you can be awarded. So it does have a little bit of flexibility in how it's run. Sometimes, it's not very often these days, but sometimes a whole standard can be reset, but it will be an entirely new assessment. So I'm going to pass over to Mr. Coley now. He will talk to you about, obviously, what's quite topical now, the use of AI.
Yeah, good afternoon. So, one of the latest developments in generative AI in the workplaces and schools and obviously tertiary institution is how to balance usage for equity purposes, and certainly how to teach students when is appropriate to use AI and when it's not. So at our school we have an AI policy which students have signed. There's also a kind of policy that we outline for them when it's okay to use AI, and some teachers lead that and are very transcriptive about you can use it for this research, I want you to break this down, and then we look to have critical thinking out of that. Prohibition hasn't worked too often in society, and we believe that we need to work with students to make them understand when it's appropriate, when it's not appropriate to use it. It is appropriate to source AI if you've used it in an assessment or a piece of work and kind of source where it's come from. That's no different than it has been for generations of using resource books and other things to source things. So we have kind of gone through and discussed, especially with senior students, almost a traffic light system for understanding about when they can use AI, and it's pretty straightforward as you can see on the screen there. So rest assured we do run sessions and we try to upskill students to use it properly and give them information when they should use it. We have instances in the past where sometimes they haven't actually said that they've used it or sourced it, and then that comes under the realm of plagiarism, just like anything, and we have our procedures there. But I won't go into too much depth about that. You can envisage what that entails. University entrance requirements, that is slightly different, and to gain university entrance there's a prescribed list of subjects, there's a prescribed list of standards. It's very easy to see online, you can just Google search it. You need to gain university entrance NCEA level 3, so once again 60 credits at level 3. Within that you need 3 university approved subjects at level 3. Not every subject is university entrance approved, but the vast majority are. You also need 10 credits at level 2 or above, and that's different from what Mrs. Bradford was talking about in terms of literacy and numeracy, and it's set at 5 reading credits and 5 writing credits. Every standard has those attached to them. If they have reading or writing attached to them, students are well informed of what's required. It's on the student subject information booklets, which hopefully you're going to be looking through, and that will say if they have writing or reading credits attached to it. And naturally, they need their co-requisites that Mrs. Bradford talked about also. Further to this, which is actually at level 4, is the New Zealand Scholarship Examinations, and they sit outside level 3. They are in the time frame in November when students sit NCEA level 3 exams, or level 2, and they sit separate scholarship exams, maybe for English, it could be for statistics, it could be for Spanish, etc., etc. Now, students do sit those at level 2. We had some students in the last year at level 1. A few students got them in history, which was fantastic, and a number of level 3 students try to push themselves against the best and brightest in the country. Probably looking about 3% of students sitting those examinations would obtain those in those subjects. So it's really pitting yourself against the best and the brightest. I do believe the person who was the top scholar in the country last year, I think was from St Cuthbert's actually, got something in the vicinity of 16 scholarships, which is absolutely phenomenal. 9 of them were outstanding, which is, again, phenomenal. You're putting yourself in the top 1% in the country. So that's something students can enter, and it's in addition to. And again, the list of scholarships is on the websites, and there's no credits attached to it. It's just really, as I said, to put yourself against the best and the brightest in the country. Further to this, which we haven't put in the slideshow, we do offer a small list of subjects that do Cambridge qualifications as well. So at level 2 and 3, it's in mathematics or the English realm, and some people might be interested, and you can ask questions about that over in the Lander Centre or see me or Mrs. Bradford afterwards. I'll just call Mrs. Bradford back just to talk about special assessment conditions now.
Okay, so a student can apply for special assessment conditions. Usually for the students we currently have, we have already done the assessment for that, and we've already made an application to NCEA. So often the way the system works is that we'll identify students in year 10, we'll make an application to NCEA because of course they can have assistance when they do their co-requisites. If you are going to be new to St Paul's and you are thinking that perhaps you either have a report already, your child's already got those conditions, you just inform us and NCEA will send through the notation that tells us that your student already, or your child already deserves special assessment conditions. If it comes up that you're not sure and you think perhaps there is some reason that we could make an application for you, you can just email us and we will actually follow that through. So the good thing for students who need some extra assessment consideration when they're sitting, it does apply to both internal and external. NCEA will do the external exams for us. They will they'll pay there, and then we can use anybody during the year to help students with any assessment that they might have. The one probably, if you already know that your child doesn't have learning difficulties, there may be some time that a physical or a medical problem emerges. You can also get help for that sort of thing. We're talking about rest breaks, separate accommodation. If anxiety becomes a thing, that's often awarded as a special separate accommodation. So it's worth keeping in the back of your mind that if you are concerned at all that your child may need different assessment conditions, then you just make an application to the school and we can help you with that. The next one is obviously digital. Okay, everything's going digital, more or less. We still have a number of exams that are on paper and they'll remain on paper for some time. But it's really important these days because the students, for instance, will all sit their English examination digitally. So students have what they call a My NCEA login. Okay, at the moment, every student at the school who is year 10 and above have now got that account. The CARs, the literacy and numeracy are both digital, all digital there. So the students probably have more experience with sitting digital exams than you realise. The good thing about that is when they log on to My NCEA, students can actually get quite a lot of information from that account. So we encourage students to actually check on their NCEA portal quite regularly because it has the updates, it has vocational pathways, it has whether they are going to get endorsement or not, and that tracks it quite nicely for them these days. So it's really important. You as a parent cannot officially log on to your child's account. Okay, the password's supposed to be for the student. So, but you can track progress on our school portal. So when we put up the standards for your child, when we enter the subjects, etc., we will enter the standards that go with those subjects. So at any time, we as staff are entering grades. When they've been moderated and checked, we will enter in grades for every student in our class, and they become visible to you as well. So as a parent, you can go in and check the progress of your child quite regularly through our normal school portal. Okay, it is quite a responsibility because it's a lot of actually data there. So we do ask the students to actually take some responsibility to make sure that we've recorded marks correctly. Those marks will also, of course, come onto the school reports. So there will be 2 reports per year. It will have the progress of the credits on those reports as well. So there's plenty of areas that you can actually go and check. If you do have a concern, then we're quite happy to receive an email from you and we will go and check on your behalf. All right, so basically that's mostly it for the information. What's quite important is that now when you go on to the school website, you will see all our subject choice booklet. We have purposely given the information for all 3-year levels. So you will be able to go on, see what's available at level 2, but you can also see what's available at level 3 so that you can actually work out whether the courses you're going to choose for your son or daughter will track to the right place for you in level 3, and then that will track to the right career pathway. So each page in the booklet does have the background for that subject. It lists every single standard for that subject, and so therefore you can work out how many credits that subject, how many internals, how many externals. There is quite a lot of information on that booklet there, so you can actually check out level 2 physics may have 1 internal, 3 externals, that kind of information, so you can plan your course. All right, is there any questions from anyone? Do you want to? I'll just pass you over to the headmaster.
Kia ora koutou, good evening everyone, and thank you for being here. Appreciate we're a Friday afternoon and we talk about cognitive load in education, so the idea that there's just too much stuff being trying to crammed into a headspace, and certainly appreciate that that may be the case for a number of you right now. Just want to summarise by really highlighting a few key things. Number one, you have seen already by Mrs Bradford and Mr Coley's addresses today, they are gurus and experts in this space. We're available, they want to answer your questions, to be in a position that you have confidence and comfort around what the rules of the game are, what or how NCEA is administered, and how to make sure that subject selection wise the best possible decisions can be made. They are 2 of the key members of our team, but certainly want to encourage you as you head towards the Lander Centre to talk to our heads of various departments, to talk to our leaders of curriculum. They can unpack the language a lot more. It may feel like and look like a foreign language at the moment, but they'll help unpack that for everybody and to give you a sense of what each of the courses look like. Can I just highlight that your sons and daughters are in a course at the moment or in a framework where the St Paul's diploma, something bespoke to our school, is being delivered, and can I just really acknowledge our young people. What we've seen, and we're in May, is that our Year 11 cohort are working in a really diligent and focused manner, and those results will pay off. Our Year 11 courses are about cram-packing the year with academic knowledge so that our students know more by the time they arrive in Year 12, ready to sit NCEA Level 2. We're seeing the benefits of that already with our current Year 12s, who, compared to their peers in other kura across the country, spent more time here with us because we teach deeper into Term 4, and as a result have got not only a lot more knowledge is our initial read, but also their skill acquisition and their confidence in subject-related skills is certainly at a higher level than we've seen from comparable St Paul's cohorts in time gone by. So we really do rate our staff, and we do think that the energy and effort that young people are putting in at the moment to the Year 11 studies is going to have a really great impact when they move forward into next year. We are May, but the reason for giving this information to you now is so that it doesn't come in one great wave later on in the year or at the start of next year. This particular presentation today will be available, both the PowerPoint and a digital recording, on our website, and we'll send that as part of the weekly notices next week, so you'll be able to look into that in more detail. Can I really just stress to you in colloquial terms, and if I put my history teacher hat on from many, many years ago now, in terms of for most adults in the room, if you were in a history class or any class years ago, you sat an exam most likely at the conclusion of the year that was marked out of 100, you got a nominal mark, that gave you a grade, an A, B, C, D or the like, and then that gave you a sense in terms of your qualification, whether that be a bursary or Form 6 certificate or a school certificate, that gave you a sense of where you sat. NCEA, quite a different philosophy, ideology, methodology, and a really good one at that, internationally recognised. If I was a history teacher today, what I'd be saying is throughout the course of this year, we're going to write an essay. That's going to be worth, for example, 3 credits. Later on in the year, we're going to look at a whole bunch of cartoons and speeches, and we're going to understand the provenance and what the purpose and intent of that writing is, and that will be worth a number of credits as well. Later on, we're going to look at a historical event, and then we're going to look at individuals' perspectives and write paragraphs outlining what those key people thought at that moment in time, and that's going to be worth a number of credits. And if you get each of those assessments, internal or external, and you get above that threshold to get an achieved or at a higher level of competency and merit or at an excellence level, regardless, you get that number of credits. And when in my history class, followed by your other subjects, you get over 60 credits in total, along with a couple of other disclaimers that were shared by our Deputy Headmasters this afternoon. Then you gain NCEA Level 2, and as you move into Level 3, you complete your courses of study at a higher level of academic knowledge and intellect, with the hope to gain Level 3, UE in the process, and then be able to enter into further tertiary study and vocational learning beyond our gates. So it is quite a different structure. We do expect as parents that as you become familiar with that different language that you have lots of questions, and we really want to take the time to be able to answer those at an individual level. So please reach out if there's anything that we can do to help you, including as you head on over to the Lander Centre talking to our senior staff. But it's a real pleasure that you have been here. We wanted to spend the first half an hour to arm you with some language before you go exploring across the campus. Please enjoy that opportunity to connect with our team and then enjoy the weekend ahead. Ngā mihi nui, take care.